The day I went to Walmart to buy this poster for this sermon, this was my goal, to go out and buy a poster for this sermon. I walked right by the poster rack with other posters that you would put up in your room. And I've looked through these posters before, and you'll be flipping through and you'll see SpongeBob, Scooby-Doo, Spider-Man, and then wham, there's a model who's 90% undressed, wearing a bikini, And as I was walking by to buy this poster, I walked by that poster rack, and a thought creeped in my mind. I could grab that poster. I'm by myself in Conway where not a lot of people know me, and I could go to the self-checkout. I could be gone with this poster, and no one would even know. But I didn't even meditate on that thought. I didn't even give it a second thought. I was prepared for that. I was prepared for that moment because that morning I had been reading my Bible and writing songs of praise to God. That's one of the things I do. And so that thought creeped in my mind. But I didn't even give it a second thought. I just turned my head and just walked away from that tempting situation. And I changed my thought process. So, before I have this song for you, I'd like to read Psalm 27, 5 through 6. I felt a lot like David did in this psalm that he wrote. Psalm 27, 5 and 6. For in the day of trouble he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his tabernacle and set me high upon a rock. Then my head will be exalted. My head will be exalted above the enemies who surround me. At his tabernacle will I sacrifice with shouts of joy. I will sing and make music to the Lord. So, I have a song for you all. When I walk around campus, wherever I go, I love to bring with me my Bible, and this is my personal book of prayers and songs. And you see in the back of your chairs, you've got Bibles and hymnals. And I think they're both very important. Singing praises to God. I love these hymns that we just sang, and this is probably more like a poem. And as I was walking away from the poster rack that day, this is what I was saying to myself, and I just walked away, and it helped me to change my focus to God and take my focus off the temptation. So, here it goes. The title of it is, I'm Thinking of You. This here is my book of prayers and songs to the one and only God who can right my wrongs, who sent his only Son so I could live through him, so I can no longer live a life in slavery to sin. Now I run a new race, yeah, I'm running for him. And he provides me with coaches like Dr. Quinn. And it's not just a race, it's a battle I have won. And I did it by accepting God's gift, his Son. He died on the cross so I could be free. Jesus the King abolished slavery. Now I know that God exists. I don't need no hypothesis. I've got 2 pieces of evidence. Y'all check out this. He gave me life and a beautiful wife, so I live to bring him glory by spreading Jesus' story. So please open my ears, Lord, I want to hear you. I read in Proverbs 1:7 that I must fear you. Forgive me of my sin. I want to live and to be near you. I wrote this song because I love you and I'm thinking of you. So I've got this book of prayers and songs, and it helps me. And it helps me so much to just focus on God. And I have a confession to make. A long time ago, I took a Baptist hymnal from this church, and I've still got it. But, all right. So, as I was preparing the sermon, I was thinking to myself, how awesome would that be? How awesome would that be to be Samson? If y'all have read the book of Judges, the story of Samson, I went over with my guys a while ago. Samson. The one thing I remember about Samson is when a lion was charging at him, he just ripped it in half. I've always thought how awesome that would be. the power of God just empowered Samson to do that, to just tear this lion in half. And that's how I felt when I walked away from that tempting situation, because, you know, we can all do that every day of our lives. Tear lions in half. Because Ephesians chapter 6 says that the Bible, the Word of God, is the sword of the Spirit. So this is like a sword. And if we train with it, and we train our spiritual muscles to use this sword, when we come up to the desires of our sinful nature, wherever they're at throughout our life, if we're prepared with our sword, we can take our sword and slash those desires in half and just walk away. Just like Samson tore that lion in half. So now I'd like to read 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 8 and 9, where the Bible refers to Satan as a lion. 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 8 and 9. Be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in the faith, because you know that your brothers throughout the world are undergoing the same kind of sufferings. So I know that everyone faces temptation. And as Christians, we just got to train with our sword. That's all we got to do. So I believe every time we make a decision that's in agreement with the Word of God, one, we take our sword and we slash it through our sinful nature. And also, we take our paintbrush and make a beautiful stroke on our canvas for God. So, to end this sermon, I would like to read 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 and 8. This is just a good verse to meditate on throughout the week. Chapter 4, verse 7 and 8. The end of all things is near. Therefore, be clear-minded and self-controlled so that you can pray. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. So, as we have our invitation with Ms. Phillips and instrumentalists,